I'm your host, Laria Speaks,
And I'm your host, Nay.
and welcome to
Thought
Thought Topics
Topics Podcast.
Podcast. And here is some mood,
And here it's lit.
and here we chilling.
And here it's hot.
Join us on Fridays for
Girls Night as we explore stories of transformed hot girls.
Welcome back to Thought Topics Podcast. We have a new guest this week, and go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
Hey everyone, I am LaMeka.
Okay, and LaMeka, so I don't know, give us your Tinder dating profile. No, I'm just but just tell the people just something interesting about you if you want them to know how old you are, who you are, and anything.
I
In
mean, well,
Tell him how fine you is. How fine you is.
period.
listen, I'm on blackpeoplemeet.com and I like long walks on the beach. No, no, but seriously, let me just, it's a little bit about me. I am a 46-year-old mother of four.
Girl.
Yes, I am, divorced, been happily divorced, for, quite some time now. Um, I'm gonna be ready to mingle soon, and yeah. I'm just out here just trying to just do the work for the Lord. I know that sounds a little extra, but that's where I am right now.
And then that's just where you at. But I knew you was in your 40s. I don't know why I didn't know 46 cuz baby, it's not given that. Well, you know what? 40 is the new 30 and 30
That
is the
it,
new
it,
20.
I thought it was the new 21.
Oh, man, let it be it all. Be it unto you, my child. But nah, black don't crack, baby, cuz yeah, you lit out here.
Thank you.
Okay, so y'all know the drill. Y'all know the drill. We here to talk about our transform hot girl stories, right? So describe your relationship history in a movie title.
So if I had to describe my relationship history, the journey of love that I've been through, I would call it Love Jones.
Mm.
Wait a minute. That's my favorite
I already
movie.
knew that you was gonna go
Oh,
in.
my heart just came out
Listen,
of my body. It was Lorenz Tate with his poem for me.
oh, listen. No, but yeah, I would say Love Jones.
Okay, Love Jones.
Yeah, because I'm the
So,
moon with your left eye, trying to become the funky in your right.
mm, okay,
All
Nate, go
right, all
ahead.
right.
So,
All right, all
Is
right.
that all right?
listen, okay, Nate, summarize the movie. I've seen Love Jones, but it's not retained in me like that. But Nate, since it's your favorite, go ahead, summarize the movie. What's Love Jones for those
Um,
the newbies
okay.
that's like, what's Love
So
Jones?
it to me it's like a love language through poetry. Like it's two individuals trying to find themselves, and she just basically got out of this relationship where she was just engaged, and she just comes to this new city trying to like basically find herself. And they're mingling at this event, and he finds her, and he looks at her, and he thinks she is just so gorgeous, like she shook his world up. And so she really wasn't trying to talk to him, so she just like dissed him. And then he just gets on stage and he wows her with this amazing poem, like memorizes her mind. And she like, oh my God, why would you do that? And at the end of the night, you thought, she would have gave him the number because I would have. No, she made him work for that.
Work for it. That sound like her. That sound like LaMeka. She'd be
I'm
like,
it's just this
climb a little
story.
higher, sweetie.
This story, like this just love story they use through words and they go through it and in the end, they come back together and they realize like they needed each other. They were the air each other's friends. Like, yes.
Okay. And for my Gen Z audience, y'all watch Power. Y'all know Alderman Tate. He was the main character in that movie. So go look that up on whatever streaming platform and watch Love Jones. But Lamika, let's just jump into it. So take us through your Love Jones journey.
Okay, so excuse me. I say Love Jones because so let's just break down Jones. And when you have a Jones for something, that's like an old fashioned word or older term for like having a craving for something or like an addiction. You're searching for it, you're craving it, you're looking for it. Um, and most of the time, it can lead to destruction. And for me, I say Love Jones because I was always looking for love, and I would jump, or I would get into a relationship, and like, okay, is this my potential? So let me back up a little bit. Part of it was I grew up in church, and whenever you dated somebody, they said it was your husband.
Mm.
So
Yes.
whenever I would start dating, in the back of my mind, I'm already looking. But they kind of said it. I had different standards, and so I will make you work for it. I wasn't just, so how Nia Long kind of had Lorenz Tate, she didn't give in right away or whatever. I was kind of that way. I wouldn't give in, so to speak, but I was always looking for it. And then right now, like, I listen to other people, they're like, your standards are this, and give him a chance, and you think you this, and you may not find anybody to meet all of that. So I began to lower my standards because I felt like I wouldn't find love if I didn't. And then that took me through a whole bunch of rocky journeys. And when last time I watched Love Jones, there's so many different places where I identified, or I can like identify in the movie. But this is going to sound real bad. I found myself more so relating to Darius Love Hall, Lorenz Tate's character. In this one scene specifically where him and Nia Long, they get into this argument or whatever. And he tell her, you know what, you can just leave. Even though he didn't want her to leave, he was like, you can just leave, his pride or whatever. And so she didn't want to leave, and she kind of stands there, she get all her stuff, and she's standing there looking, and she like, here go the keys, and he was like, leave me, you can bounce. So she leave the keys, she walk outside, knowing that, she really wanted him to chase her, whatever. So she leave, and he's sitting here, now he regretting it because, he really didn't want her to, but his pride and all that toughness and all of that stuff, he like, dang, I messed up again. I would be that person where I had all of that. And so even though I had my thing, never let them see you sweat. Even though I wanted that love, I didn't, I never really got it or felt lovely, and I would want that. I had this certain thing within me that when I'm dating somebody, once they got to a certain point, I don't know, it was something that in me would just make me kind of shut down or shut off, and it would end up like we end up breaking up for whatever reason. It would be a whole lot of different things, but in that movie, like they were, like she said, destined to be together. Like they really wanted to be with each other, but there were so many different outside forces and egos and the games that they were playing. And I did that for years, playing these games and trying to be tough this, and then like letting walls down here and all these different things, playing all these games, and missed out on a whole lot, and then gave myself to the wrong people, just like she ended up dating his friend. She didn't want him. Um, just
Girl,
all of the things, dating all these wrong people, and then, okay, well, maybe I'm gonna try, and then knowing that these certain people that I were entertaining, like before I even entertained a smile on their faces, I knew they were giving me certain attention or whatever. So then I would go and date them, and then, give them a little cookies away, and then, okay, you know what? Now you get a little too close. I'm gonna move on to somebody else. So yeah,
girl.
that.
So I'm like, dang, we only got 30 minutes. She finna just preach the whole sermon. Like, I got a lot of questions because this supposed to be in the people for the people in the back, but this for me today. This for me. I got like, okay, first, let's start with why. I'm like, wow, my friends so deep. Y'all so deep. I love it. The title, Love Jones. I don't know why in my head Jones was a name. But you like, no, I love Jones. It's like a yearning for something. Like, what? I don't know. Am I the only person who didn't look at that title like that? Did did y'all already have it?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, y'all already
yeah,
had it.
we
Okay, well,
did.
I didn't have it. I
Yeah.
didn't have it,
Because
baby.
it was like in the
I didn't have
movie, he was like, I think I got it. I think I'm in love. I think I got it. And everybody looking at him like, ooh, like he was just scared. But he knew that she had got him, especially when he got up and made that cheese omelet in the morning.
it.
Yes, and
You just here for the word.
but then he tried to play so tough because he didn't. He was cool, but then he wanted to show it really and
Hmm.
playing all the game and almost missed out.
Yeah. But no, like for the audience, like how did you get let's dissect this part. What have you identified? What made you have this yearning or this Jones for that? Like where does that come from? Because I do know like with the Bible, um, we are supposed to desire marriage is part of God's will, but not to the point where it's like almost obsessive. And I feel like what you described is it being obsessive. And I could even relate to the church. Everybody, you date your husband, baby. We'll get to that in a second. But What made it switch from just this desire that will happen when it's meant to happen to this obsessiveness?
So for me, and now we finna really tell my business. So,
Tell it.
um, I was molested when I was a child.
Mhm.
Um, one, two, three times. Um, Aside from that, growing up, I was always very thin, very dark. I always had a whole lot of hair all over my head, big lips. So, growing up, I didn't, really feel loved. Didn't really get that attention, not even from my mom.
Mhm.
And my mom was, very thin growing up. And so that was a stigma for her. And so instead of her validating who I was, she always made my weight, her issue with her weight, my issue with my weight. So it'd be, you too skinny, you need to eat more, you need to do this. And I never felt validated growing up. So when I got touched, that was some attention, number one. And then after that, when I did start to get some attention, it's like, wait a minute. And I got a little bit of attention, and then I started craving that more and more. And that attention made me want to, that I in my mind, that was love, because I never got attention. I never got that love, those hugs, those kisses, from certain people. But like, my dad was in prison the majority of my life. And my mom dealt with depression and her things, and I was the oldest, so I pretty much was the mom of the house. I took care of my brothers. I cooked. At 10, 11 years old, 12 for sure, I was making the whole Thanksgiving dinner type thing. So I never felt loved and validated. So then when I got a little bit of that attention, it sparked that craving in me. So then now that felt good. And then now I'm craving it, and I'm searching for it everywhere. Like, whenever a little bit of it peeks his head up, it's like, okay. Like, even now, I had to, when certain things happen, I have to stop and do a whole self check, because wait, why? Making sure that I'm not feeding off of that attention.
Mm, Jesus. I would
And
say
then,
that's a common thing with a lot of us, not being loved in childhood and then internalizing it and having these outlandish behaviors due to it.
mm,
I would like to say thank you for being brave and sharing your story. I feel like a lot of women and men can relate to that, that, wanting to be validated by our parents, or them just noticing and acknowledging us. And when we do get that attention from someone else, it's like we crave that. And you think, like, when you're younger, as you get older, that it goes away. But it's like, no, I want to be seen. I deserve to be here.
Yeah. How, and I'll say this, and I think all of us have kind of been through that in a way, and I don't even remember if we shared it last time. We're gonna share it again if we do. Um, what are some practical things that you did to overcome that? Like, did your parents start giving you attention? Like, what?
so first, to overcome it, I actually went through a whole journey. I had, I battled with fornication real bad, and I didn't understand why I would do so well and then I would fall off. And, I was thinking something was wrong with me. And I was just praying and talking to God about it, and He showed me, like, hey, you have, like, why? What is happening when you fall, or when you make the mistake? What is happening? And, like, what are you going through in those times? And then so I started to realize, like, oh, he started just talking to me, and I'm like, okay, so when I feel insecure or rejected, or those different things, then that will cause me to want to seek love and attention now, because I felt rejected. So then I would go and I find myself in these circles, and then I will fall. And so once he showed me that, then I started just kind of going through my childhood, and he walked me down the road of where those feelings of insecurity and rejection, either my control issues, all of those things, where they came from. And it was all centered around different traumatic instances in my childhood. So once I identified those traumas, he began to help me heal from those. And then as I began to heal, I began to find different ways to cope, and healthier ways to deal with things and to live. So that's, I recognized how the pattern started and where it all came from. Then he helped walk me through that, and which is I'm currently, I didn't say this in my introduction, but I'm currently getting my degree in behavioral health science with an emphasis on childhood and adolescent disorders. And part of that, what sparked that was me wanting to know, like, I knew it wasn't just me. So helping people identify their traumas, helping them heal from them so they can be productive adults, because I understand now that a lot of things that we do as adults stem from trauma as children. For example, when I was in my 20s and 30s, you couldn't catch me going outside without my hair and my nails done, and that was because I used to get teased and picked on a lot. And clothes had to be fitted, purse had to match everything. I got teased a lot as a kid, and so when I got older, okay, I can control the narrative. So if my hair is always done, my nails are always done, my fit is right, my purse and everything matching, then people can't talk about me. So the certain control issues and different behaviors were birthed from trauma as a child. And so as he began to reveal those things to me, and then I became secure in who I am in him, and that he loves me for me, and he created me how he did, and who the people who are for me. And I realized I'm not for everybody, but those who are for me. And I used to joke and say I'm not for everybody, there's those with good taste. But I do realize that, of course, I'm not for everybody. but the ones that I'm for, and they in my corner for real. And so I don't have to worry about, the praise from anybody else. Just being who God created me to be and being comfortable in that skin.
Yes, I love that for you. But similar, very very similar ways to overcome that feeling of needing to be validated through people or whatever. Getting in the face of first identifying it, and like you said, I'm big on that. Like when I feel insecure or when I feel whatever, knowing what my responses to that are, to that art, whether it's, oh, let me post something on social media so I can get some likes, or let me call this person because they feed my ego, or just the little things we do to feed our need of feeling inadequate or feeling not beautiful. Intentionally not doing those things when I feel that way, and going to the Father, and going to the Father looks like praying, turning on some worship music, reading scripture that tells me who God says I am, or immersing myself in something that I enjoy, so that feeling, um I notice that sometimes I feel that way, like after failing something or getting rejected or hearing no, or recently I was going after a job that I ended up not getting, and like I started to feel this rejection and just like played these mind games, but I was intentional about like, no, okay, instead of moping over this and looking at it like I'm inadequate, like why? Backtracking on my steps, and really because it just wasn't in God's plan for me. So yeah, I really love the tips you gave. I've been through a very similar process, and the reason I'm having us share this is just like we say some stuff that may trigger y'all, and to give you some tangible steps so you're not just sitting around triggered and frustrated. So take these examples, um, and use them, put them into work, and yeah, I would say read, especially if you're feeling less about yourself and don't know who you are. Oh, correct me if I'm wrong. If it's it Ephesians 2 or Ephesians 4, just read both of them. They'll feed you. Read all. But the book of Ephesians says a lot about how God views you, saying that He bought you with a price. He's chosen you, and just feeding yourself things like that will build up the validation in Him instead of in man.
You are fearfully and wonderfully made in God's image. Um, that is something that I say to myself every day when I look in the mirror, to remind myself of how God sees me and how special I am. Because I have had those moments and still been there where we seek wanting to be wanted. So it might be like, going to that spot where that dude think you cute. And so like just to get that extra boost, you just go in there anyways, even though you're not about to talk to him. But he gives you compliments, and that feeds your ego. It gives you that boost. And so that is something that I learned about myself that I used to do, and saying that Bible verse every day has helped fill that void, saying that in the mirror.
Amen. We all got that one gas station where all the niggas be. If don't nobody love you, the niggas at the gas station gonna love you. But don't go there.
No.
I'm telling you that to avoid it. But no. But anything else that you want to share about that process of just identifying that craving and overcoming it? Let me.
No, I think what you ladies added was perfect. And then also during that process, I will say this. Gosh just started showing me. He had me write down all of my partners, all of my sexual partners that I have, had encounters with, and I wrote them all down. And then I started looking at like, wow, like I ain't trying to really talk about people call them low ends, but it was just some people that just
It
I
is what it
listen.
is. No.
It was like, wow, like, girl, they weren't even worthy. Like, why did you? And so it was just like, wow. And then I started to find a different value in myself. Like, everybody don't deserve, it's your treasure. And everybody don't deserve to unwrap your present. Like, you give yourself to somebody that deserves this present. And then he started showing me, like, I used to put more stock in, picking out the perfect Christmas gift for people and watching it and doing all the stuff than I did in who I was giving myself to.
Oh,
And it was like, come on now, you can't. And just because he said he was cute or you felt some kind of way because it. So, one of my really, really good friends, he's so excuse my language. He tell me all the time. He be like, girl, you be out here acting like a whole nigga, and I'm like, don't do that. But I used to have those moments where I'd be like, okay, let me call real quick. Hey, I'm about to come through, and then when it be, I'm all right. I'm about to leave. Like, where you going? I'm leaving. Like, I'm done. Like, and then it was like, what? But I used to have those moments, and because it made me feel, not necessarily because it just satisfied me in that moment, but it made me feel like I was doing something. Like, yeah, because not now, yeah. And yeah, so it's just like, I had to take more, stock in myself and know, like, no, don't just keep giving yourself away to these people that don't even deserve it. Like, no, they not worthy to unwrap your present or your treasure right now. You wait and you save that to somebody that really, really deserves it. So now it's easier for me to say no, especially when I'm looking at you like, yeah, you ain't even on my level where God has me now. At all of the things that I've been through, all of the places that he's taken me, like from me saying, for Skip the Church, I didn't want to even deal with them after all of the things that I've been through to now being an executive pastor of a church. It's just like, wow. And so I know my value. I now know my worth. So it's easier when you know who you are. It's easier for you to say no, and to hold yourself for people. So that's actually what's been helping me on my journey, of staying pure until marriage.
yes, girl. Knowing yourself. Like that's any issue we ever gonna talk about on this podcast. Some of the stuff is rooted in identity. So knowing yourself. But I want to touch on the real nigga in you. Um, even in the beginning, you said like you identified with Lorenz Tate's character more than anything, and how you just be like real, like yeah, feel like you're doing something, whatever. What's that? Let's get into that because I feel like I can relate to that a lot. And yeah, what's your journey in Revelation with just taking the I don't want to use the word masculine, but the traditional how we know men to traditionally respond to love, relationships, and romance. While
So,
LaMeka started doing it.
so, I had, a couple moments where, I, I tried to be that, you know what, I'm gonna show all my love and I'm gonna do all of the things and that's gonna make them want to be with me and keep me or, whatever. And it didn't work that way. And so rather, me risk feeling, rejection and all of those things, or, dealing with you try to give yourself and be nice and they take your kindness for weakness and all of that. I just, I'm just flipped the other side. And that started way back in my teenage years when I was, I think 14. Um, I started dating, this guy. And I technically couldn't date until I was 16. But I was dating him and, my mom was like, okay, he come over, but y'all, she tried to monitor stuff. And, we ended up dating. I like, this is my, like, first real love. So I thought, and like, I love this dude. And, so we dated for about 2 years, until I was able to date for real, for real. But I was still a virgin. I wasn't doing any of that. And, went to high school with his sister. He went to school with my, cousin. So we was just all super cool. 16, he got a girl pregnant, and had to tell me about it, and I'm all in my feelings, and the advice that my mom gave me on it wasn't smart advice for me. And I just kind of looked at her like, no, that's dumb. Why would you tell me that? And I'm looking at him, and my heart was like literally broken. But I'm like 16 now, and I've been with this boy for 2 years, and my heart broke. And I tried to see if I can work that out with him. First of all, I'm 16, ain't got no business going through any of that. But it didn't work for me because I was never able to fully feel for him like I did before. It was like, you broke that, and now I can't ever get that back for you. And so that created the real nigga in me, because you know what, I'm not gonna put myself out there to feel like that again. And I did a couple times to a certain extent. And then when I felt like, dang, my heart getting broke again, now I got to switch on and show you how I can really get down, because how you playing with me, that kind of stuff. So, that was the thing that did it for me. So from that moment on, I played the game right along with him, all of the things, and never really allowed myself, to be in that position to be hurt like that again.
I definitely could relate to that because I was raised by my dad, so my dad was a player. So in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm finna never let a dude play me. Like, I'm not never finna do that. So I had that, what you call a top five, like how you felt like you had your dudes, and it was like, how you got that mindset to just dip? I had my top five dudes who I would talk to, and I would just dip. Like they would want this type of relationship with me. And I'm like, you're not getting that from me. Because in my mind, I told myself that I would never be that girl walking away crying with her box. Because growing up, having a dad that was a player, that's all I seen. All these beautiful different women. I knew it was over when I would see them leave the house with their box full of stuff crying. And that memory just like resonated with me because I was like, oh, I could never be that girl. And there was a moment where I ended up being that girl, and I was like, you know what? I'm top dog now. I'm never finna allow a man to make me feel that way.
Listen, and when I tell you another thing, because you said it, my mom and my dad, like I said, he was in prison the majority of my life, but he would be out here or there, and I saw their relationship. Like they would fight all the time. He cheated. So the advice that my mom gave me, when I found out that my boyfriend had cheated and got somebody else pregnant, she was telling me, like, she said, okay, you're a virgin, but he's not. And so you can't expect him to not want to have sex just because you're not. She's like, just let him do what he do. And then when you're ready, tell him and make him stop. She's like, that's what I did with your dad. So my dad was 13. My mom was 16 when they got together. My mom was 13. My dad was 16. I'm sorry. And so my mom had, and my dad was out doing his thing. And so they were together, the only guy she's ever been with, by the way, for all these years. And she told him, like, okay, well, you can do what you want to do, but when I'm ready, then you got to stop. And he said, okay, but it never happened. So their entire relationship, he continued to cheat, but you said that you gave him the okay to do that, so that he continued to cheat. And I saw that. And so when she was telling me that, I'm looking at her like, well, that's why daddy cheat on you now. That's why y'all always fighting and fussing whenever he here, type stuff. So um I saw her go through everything, and I swore, never. You ain't ever hit me. One of my kids' dad choked me one time. That was a wrap. Y'all would have thought, because my whole family, we ain't playing these games. So I made up in my mind that what my mama took and what I saw her going through. So that whole situation with my ex-boyfriend and my mom coupled together. So I'm glad you brought that up, because it reminded me of that. Um, I said to myself, I'm never being her. So I'm never, and it is crazy because I almost became the opposite. I remember I would be quick to hit. And one of my other, mind you, I got three babies, three baby daddies. And so, I can't even look at anybody crazy. Granted, they years apart, but I would just walk away. My mom tell me, you go through men like you go through draws, because, well, I'm not taking nothing from nobody. So when they start doing something, I'll move around real quick. And him and I got into it about something, and he was like, because I told you if you hit me again. And I thought about it like, dang, I'm a woman out here hitting on these guys. I can't do that. So that's when I decided to stop. But seeing her go through what she went through, and then that experience made me like, I'm not being that victim.
Yeah, I think it goes to what you were saying about what you're studying in your degree on how secondhand trauma, because mine is very similar too. Yes, my parents were not together, But I did see my mom, even when I was younger, they would fight. And then my mom got into another abusive relationship. And then also, I got a lot of brothers. My daddy, always with women. I ain't gonna put his business out there, but Brent be out here, okay? And even growing up with my brothers and my older cousins, they was always playboys, and I looked at them as like, I never be that girl. And they also embedded certain things in me, like, don't you ever let a nigga this and this and that. And my mama, don't trust no nigga. Kaya was a theme song, and I think like all of that we saw in our childhood or were taught and were groomed us. uh yes, some of it was good intent, and some of the warning signs are good to know and discern, but it literally gave us secondhand trauma, because here we are, um holding back and putting barriers in place for situations that haven't even happened. Or even, let me get you, like, I'm over here hitting him because, not causing it to happen. And y'all know Color Purple just came out. And we acting like Sophia. We acting like Sophia. We over here aggressive and doing all this stuff.
No, for real.
It's wild. Like, and I'm not saying that some men may not have needed a certain aggressive response to shut them down, but you said some in the beginning, like sometimes you was being prideful and stubborn when you didn't want to, like the scene with the key, like take the key, go, I don't want to care, I don't care. How much did we miss out on by being those tough girls or embodying this persona that is not us, that we were groomed into from people that was toxic in relationships anyway? Like, what? Like, why are we doing this? Do you feel like, is there a time where you feel like being that stubborn person? Well, obviously it is because you pick Love Jones, but being that stubborn person, what did you miss out on?
I honestly feel like that did cause me to miss out on some good dudes, because there was people that really wanted to be with me, but I had certain standards and certain things, and I was like, no, my pride. I literally had a whole key episode, like, no, leave my key. And so I do feel like it caused me to not even necessarily miss out on like a good guy, because I honestly don't feel like those guys were even worth it, but just allowing myself to have my own true experiences, not based on anyone else's issues
That's
or
good.
trauma. So it's good to learn
That's
from other
good.
people's mistakes sometimes. Thank you. But other times, like, you can need to have your own experiences. And I feel like I just kind of, my life was me trying not to be somebody, or trying to recover from things that happened. I was overcompensating a lot. I went from fighting no battles to trying to fight every battle, and so I didn't allow myself to just be enrolled with, and authentically feel what was going on. It was always, um, thinking why, or what is this, or what is that about, or maybe this, or maybe that, instead of just actually feeling what I was feeling in the moment.
Yes, that's good.
I totally agree. Like being in tune with your emotions. Cause for me, I play games. Okay. So my thing was dudes would be like, you play so many games, like you won't never take nothing serious. And I missed out on moments because I play so many games. And what I mean by that is I play with people's feelings. I play with their emotions. And so once you play with a person's feelings and emotions, you have certain control over them. And so because, like I said, like, I seen my dad do that with women. It was just, I felt like in me. I'm like, well, I don't know what else to do. Like, all I know is how to play games and be prideful sometimes. I don't know how to love. I know that I want to be loved, but what does that look like?
Yes, and then actually allowing yourself to be vulnerable in those spaces, because real talk, um, loving somebody, and allowing you, putting yourself in a place where you can be loved by somebody, is a risk. And just because you love them as hard as you want, and is the best of your ability, doesn't mean that they're going to reciprocate that. So it's a risk regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to know that, like, you know what, am I willing to take this risk, and you know open myself up? You're gonna risk being vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable. You're gonna risk being hurt, and it's just difficult, like, knowing
Yes,
that you
I
have to
agree.
trust and know
It's
that.
scary. It is scary. Like,
So
that is
scary.
scary. It's like, it feels like you're walking out on a tightrope, right? And it's like, you don't got nobody to catch you. So it's like, okay, here I go. You make them first couple steps. Okay, this ain't bad. Oh, I got towards the middle. This is uncomfortable. I ain't never made it out this far.
Mm,
So
yeah.
what do I do with that?
And I think when love exists, hurt is inevitable. Meaning, like, if you're the only way to access hurt is through love, because somebody you know can't hurt you. Some random person walking down the street, you don't care what they do, like, like their actions aren't going to hurt you. The only people that can hurt you is are those that you've let in your heart. So, not I just had so, this was said to me years ago, and I just have this rent free in my mind, that if you are closing yourself off to hurt, that you are automatically closing yourself off to love. And us trying to avoid hurt is like almost impossible. And what I shifted myself is to believe is, no matter how bad that the hurt is, that I know the healer, I know the process to get to the healer, and that he's going to heal me and he's going to see me through. And I'm not saying I walk that out every time, but even while I'm hurting and trying to run from the hurt, I'm telling myself that, like, everybody close to me, everybody that I open my heart to, has the ability to hurt me, and not because they want to, not because they're malicious, but because they are in my heart and they are human. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to do things, and I just believe that, and this is to the people outside, just believe that you're going to survive it, you're going to get through it, and God is going to mend your heart. And I'll say this: time does not heal wounds, the presence of God does.
Yes, yes, yes. Because that is a saying that everybody says, time heal wounds.
No.
No, baby. I'm gonna tell you right now. After a certain time, your heart get to harden. You get to
Mm-hmm.
thinking all these thoughts, and when you see that person, you have all this anger built up, and all that anger can damage you. It's not healthy. So it's important to give it to God and repent for what you're feeling and allow him to do the work. Time does not heal wounds. I just want to say that because, it is 2024 and people are time healed. No, God heals our heart.
Nope, it doesn't. Time does not. It may allow you the opportunity to maybe forget about the thing, and even if you feel like you're over it, then those wounds, if it hasn't if you haven't addressed it, they're gonna resurface somewhere else. I'm a witness of it. So I'm thinking that I'm good. I'm thinking that I'm over that situation with my ex-boyfriend that got this girl pregnant, but then those situations that pop up, because now I don't trust nobody. And every time I try to date somebody, everything is a red flag, and I cut you off real quick because I don't trust you. And you might have really been asleep. You may have really left your phone in the car, but now I don't trust you because, and it's not that I wasn't, time healed that. No, I'm not necessarily looking at him sideways, but now every guy I date, anything that pop up, that's a red flag. And I'm ready to walk away real quick because now I don't trust you because I was hurt when I was 16.
Yeah. And then it goes to your ability to run off real quick because you ain't healed from those things. So it's all layers on layers on layers on layers. So in your last relationship, this person may have did one small thing and you fed up and you can't take it and whatever, but really the reality is you ain't healed from the first two relationships. And what those two people did are now on top, and you're making this third person pay for everybody's mistake, and your patience is lower, your tolerance is lower, and you can, I mean, some stuff we just need to walk away from, ladies. I ain't saying if you getting hit upside your head and all that stuff, and you near death, and he pulling a gun on you and sleeping with everybody, bringing you diseases. I'm not saying that you being insensitive and stick that through, but what I'm saying is, like, one thing a person does, we don't write them off, especially if their heart is remorseful and we see a change and they're working towards it. And signs of us doing that speedily is indicators that we ain't really healed. Like LaMeka said, we just forgot about this thing. We just, numb to it. And like Nate said, our heart is hardened to it. So, baby, get it together.
Yes, and I'm sorry. No, but another thing that the Lord brought out to me too is we think that we're good because a lot of times something happen and then we waiting and we thinking that the time is gonna heal or whatever, and we've never really addressed those things, and then people are being diagnosed as bipolar because they are happy-go-lucky one moment, then something else will happen, and then they spaz out and they snap in, and it's like, whoa, how you go from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds? And it's not that you're bipolar punking. You are emotionally exhausted, and you have a lot of emotional baggage that you've never unpacked. And so every time something happened, you just going from a high to a low and everything, because nothing is a little issue. Everything is a big issue because you have all of these emotions that you've never dealt with.
Mm, listen, a roller coaster. And like, I was talking to this girl recently that was talking about her temperament and just how she feel like everything upsets her. It even to the point where she feel like her friends and stuff got to walk on eggshells, and it's like because of all this unhealed trauma. And then to make this circle complete, the whole root of the Love Jones response is unhealed trauma. We didn't heal from mama and daddy rejecting us. We didn't heal from those childhood moments that we didn't get attention. So now we just let time go on and let them sit. So now it's showing up in our relationships. Now we got this unnatural, obsessive craving for love because we didn't choose to heal. So I think the lesson today is to heal. Like, get before God and heal from those childhood things. Get a therapist if you need to. Spend time in His prayer and His word. I don't know what y'all took from it.
Yes, I agree with the healing and allowing God to heal you. And I just strongly believe in like breaking covenants and breaking strongholds. Um, as she said, like I did the same thing. I wrote a list of like all my sexual partners and I broke covenant and I broke those strongholds with them. Like again, some of those people on my list, I'm embarrassed. It was really like the fact that I even talked to you shows me that I didn't know my worth. But I realized it was a stronghold. Like I carried something from every relationship or every transaction that was from their bondage. And I wondered why I showed up a different way because I didn't break this stronghold. So I had to take time to heal and to really give that to God and get to the root of it. And a lot of that sparked from my childhood. So I had to start breaking generational curses because then I looked at, hey, why did my dad feel this way? That means you were missing some type of love. You didn't feel wanted in some area of your life. And you dated multiple women and that showed and played games. And then it just trickled down to me because that's what I saw. So when you heal, it is a beautiful thing because you begin to be free and you can really see God work through that thing because trying to do it on your own is difficult and it's like you're running in circles.
Yes, and you said something there. I think a lesson is in that, that your dad didn't what type of love were you not receiving that you're responding this way? And I think for those listening, I feel this in my spirit that the first stage of some of you healing is the forgiveness. And what I hear God saying is that you need to forgive them for how they loved you because it was all they knew. They can only love you from how they were taught to love. And even as African Americans, we come from a very toxic background of abuse by society. So that's all we were able to reciprocate in certain households is abuse. So that forgiveness and understanding that there was some, whatever, however they loved you, sometimes that's all they knew because that's what they were taught love was. And that it wasn't personal. It was just mindset. It was all they knew. So start your journey of forgiveness there, of understanding that it wasn't done intent or out of hate. It was done out of normalcy, habit, and ignorance.
Yes. And I'm gonna just say one more thing. While you were talking, you were saying like you were showing up different because you were taking on those traits, and that is something that is so true because those soul ties, and so whatever spirits they were battling with, when you have that soul tie, now you have to fight that. And in the movie Love Jones, in a few times in the beginning of the movie, Neil Long was telling telling Lorenz, okay, you need to stop smoking. Well, you need to quit smoking. And but toward the movie, as it went on, they were sitting at the table and he had a cigarette and she took it from him and smoked it. And then now at the end, they show a scene where she's sitting on the couch and she sad thinking about him or whatever it is. And then she pulled a cigarette out and she's smoking. So she took on that from him. And a lot of times we don't realize that when we're being intimate with somebody, that we are pulling on the things that they're dealing with, and then we end up dealing with them and demonstrating those same things.
Lord.
Yes, I also want to touch on this too because like God is getting me there. When you are healing, it is important that you surround surround yourself with people that are of God. Okay, because when I look at Love Jones and they were going through the motions, I remember like his best friend was going through something through his marriage, and he was still married, but he ended up talking to this other lady, and so because he started to become bitter, he started to basically like pull away from love. And so when he did want to say like he was in love and he got that feeling, he wanted that extra boost and support. And his friend was kind of like negative and was saying like, this is kind of something you don't want. Like this is not it. Um, and throughout the movie, you see that his best friend, like character develop when he gets back with the girl. But through that whole process, you need positive people that are in your ear and are supportive of your healing journey. And so, like Nia's long best friend, she knew that they had this special connection, and she reached out to him and let him know, like, hey, I don't know what you have going on, but she's going to be in town then. Like, during your journey, be careful of who you surround yourself by as you're healing if you're looking for a certain support system as well.
And let me tell I'm gonna say one more thing. Girl, say whatever else you need to say. Listen, anything else. So, like I said, I kind of watched Love Jones. I don't remember significant, but did they end up together, y'all? I don't
Yes,
remember.
they did. They
They
was
ended
outside
up
in the
together.
rain. She
They,
messed up that middle part went down.
Listen, so it started out with him telling her a poem. So at the end, she got up and she said a poem and was looking for him and didn't know he was in there. And she said her little poem or whatever and walk out and he go out and he catch her. So they go out in the rain and he tell her like he let it all out, like forget it, you know what, I love you and it's urgent. And so they end up, he has some other little fancy French words in there, but
Yes.
and they end up kissing whatever in the rain and together. So yeah, in the end, he realized that all these games and whatever, it ain't worth it. I want you and I'm willing to let all that go. And I've learned that too. Like in the end, it ain't even worth it. We too grown. Ain't nobody got time to be playing the game. If I like you and want to be with you, I do. Okay, you don't want to be with me, that's fine. I'm gonna move on. Like I ain't got time to be playing games anymore. It's not even worth it.
okay, so who you serenading? Who you no? Who you thinking
Okay,
your
bring that
poem to? I'm just, you ain't gotta tell us. I'm messing. I'm meddling. Getting your business out here. Okay, the last thing I do want to touch on, y'all. I can't leave without talking about this. Like when you have that Love Jones and you got this yearning, and you ain't, this for the people probably a little bit inside. You dating somebody in church and everybody like, oh, that's your husband. Putting you in a trick bag because granted, we want to see people married, we want to see beautiful marriages and this and that, and how because we did not heal, because we looking for this uh sense of love somewhere else, and because we're too busy being validated by people, and because we've idolized people in positions or in routine, because some people just in church out of routine, we went with that word and sometimes got caught up in some situations pursuing this to be your husband or your wife because of what people said, y'all. And I'm just saying it to give you another reason to heal, because that trick bag is not, it's not cute.
Yeah, I say go to God for yourself. No matter what a title a person has, or what wonderful word they says. Even when somebody gives you a word, it's important to go to God for yourself in regards to that, because that is a really deep trick bag. And I know LaMeka said it in the beginning, like, every person you date is not your husband. But when you're involved in the church, you tend to think that every time, because that's what they put in your head. And so before you start that process, I say go to God and ask God to reveal to you and to show you, regardless of what everybody else saying, because it sound good, it look good, and then you in this situation that you never was supposed to be in.
That part. Just and they always it's better to marry than to burn and all of this stuff, trying to misquote scriptures and telling you all of that. And it's like, listen, at the end of the day, just you do what's right for you. Don't live for people. I learned that. Been engaged multiple times because yep, this is the one, and then things don't work out, and get married, and wanting to stay married, not because, well, I did love him and I wanted to work it out. But one of my main things was, okay, now what they gonna say? I told you so. I don't want to hear this and I don't want to hear that. At the end of the day, they're not living your life for you. I'm the one that have to live with this. So regardless, I was dating somebody and everybody was like afterwards, like, oh yeah, this he the one and he this, and I walked away from that. And but when I did it then, now I'm healed, and so I walked away. I didn't care what anybody had to say. That he ain't the one. It's not gonna work out. Let me leave. I'll leave sooner rather than later, or whatever. But now I'm not caring, because I used to put so much stock in what people said and what they thought, and they gonna talk regardless. And I know we hear that often, but whether you're doing good, bad, or however, they're gonna have something to say. So I don't care anymore. I am too free to care about what people think about me, and we have to get to that place where people's opinions don't matter as much as what God says, and we have to be able to be in tune with him and listen to him, get in his presence, understand his voice, and know that his word has to carry more weight than the word of anybody else. And regardless of what they say, if God give you something, a lot of times he'll give us a vision or whatever, and we got to run and run it through 2 or 3 other people and see what they say and what they think. And then if they don't agree, now we second guessing God. No, if God gave it to you, then if you need to talk it through with somebody, you ask God, who should you talk to about it, and then y'all have that conversation. But don't let people make you miss what God say, or what God has for you, or whatever. Their words should never carry that much weight. And I learned that now I'm just absolutely too free to care. And my kids give me a hard time a lot, because I'll be out here, I'm just being me, LaMeka, wherever I go, and they be like, you don't got nothing. Nope, I don't care. Look, I wasted the majority of my life caring too much and being inside of a bubble or a box. Now I don't care. And I'm gonna listen to hear what God has to say, and what anybody else have to say, it don't matter. So you can tell me until your tongue fall out to marry such and such. If God don't say it, then nope. Well, y'all, you can't be doing it. You don't want to fornicate. I know me and God have a good relationship, and I'm not going to just jump and marry anybody just so I can have sex. It's more than that. It's bigger than that. And that's why so many marriages be jacked up and y'all putting up with whatever, because you hurried up and got married. So you didn't have to burn, as you call it. And now you struggling through.
Girl, you speaking our language. She said you could tell me till your tongue fall out unless God said what he said. Whoa! Okay. That is it right there. I love that. Everything you just said, yep, period. And hashtag yes, me too. Um, it was something else I was gonna say, but you done said so much I probably don't even need to say it.
It's
Oh,
the too free to care for me.
too
That's
free
I'm
to
definitely I'm definitely finna use that. That was a word for me, because
yes.
I'm finna be so free that I don't even care. Like when I say, like, I said it that way. I said it that way for a reason, because I do care, and I realize that me caring so much has got me in the position where I am, and I need to be so free and stand on God's word so much that regardless, like you said, people are gonna talk regardless. Whether you do it the way exactly they want you to do it or a different way, they have something to say. So I need to be so at peace and be too free to even care. Like that resonated with me, honestly, for real.
Yes, God is so intentional, even with the timing of this. But I remember what I was about to say now. So I saw this post, and I think this is just about the people pressuring you and dating and all that stuff and that standard. This guy, and it spoke to, it kind of gave words to how I've been moving. He said, you're dating for 2 things: to get to know somebody, to assess them. and then to see if their kingdom assignment aligns with yours. And if their kingdom assignment does not align with yours, it's very dangerous to get in a marriage covenant with them, no matter what the church saying. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So the last question, I guess, statement, LaMeka, what would you say to your younger self? Because I know your younger self is listening. She may be in a situation. She may be unloved by her mother. She, or even he, may be putting on some persona they're not, to not get heartbroken or whatever. Just in a sentence or two, what's your dear little LaMeka?
Um, so if I could talk to my younger self, I would say, you know what? You are enough. You are so awesomely, amazingly enough that it's crazy. Um, don't worry about who don't like you. Don't worry about who's not giving you your attaboys or anything. Just be you, and anybody that's supposed to be with you gonna come. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what people got to say. Their opinions of you don't matter.
Amen. Unless you on crack and they telling you to stop using it. All right.
So, wait, say that again.
I said you said you said their opinions and you don't matter. I said amen. Unless you on crack and they telling you to stop using it. That's all right. But yeah, I think that was great. Last remarks, Nay, you got anything else?
Man, I'm too free to care. Like y'all be so yeah. I'm so serious. For the people outside, be too free to even care. Like when I say that that's what y'all gonna hear me say every time, that's what you're going to hear me say every time. Just be at peace with God and go through your healing journey. Allow God to unharden your heart. Break those covenants. Write out your list. And this is something that you do daily. It's not just a thing like you like, oh, I did that already. Like, we'll do it again because stuff come back up and
Mm-hmm.
it's rooted and that thing be deep and sometimes we wouldn't even realize it. So with that, continue to do that so that you can be too free to care.
Amen. Okay, that's all we gonna have. I say this because I feel led, LaMeka. I don't know what you want to share, whether it's your church, they could come to your church, or an email, or your social media handles. I don't know, but I just have this inkling in me that some maybe it's some discipleship that's gonna happen through this podcast. But can you share how people can contact you if they got questions, or need some encouragement throughout the process of them stepping outside of their Love Jones?
Yes. Email me at LaMekaMcKinney@gmail.com. That's spelled LaMekaMcKinnie @gmail.com. I'm on Facebook, LaMeka McKinney. I'm on Instagram, LaMeka McKinney, and I'm on it's X now, Twitter X, LaMeka McKinney. But again, I'm also the executive pastor of a church called Revive, a Life Transformation Church. We are located at 2327 North 52nd Street here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And our church and our model is really simple. Um, at Revive, our goal is to connect you to Jesus, then to your purpose, and then to the community that you serve. We believe 1,000% that everybody has someone that's designed to hear your voice. And a lot of times, myself, is crazy because the majority of our leadership have all went through phases in their lives where they gave up on the church. Not necessarily God, but I told God, I love you. I don't like your people. When I was going through my divorce, a pastor at a church here was one of the ones, him and his congregation, encouraging my husband to divorce me and marry somebody else that he had been cheating on me with because they went to his church. And I was just so done with church people. I was hurting, going through, and the church that I went to at the time, they were so into me using my gift that they didn't really care about the fact that I was dying spiritually and I was showing up, but I was hurting. And I said, God, I love you, but I don't like your people. They all jacked. These churches is all jacked. I'm tired. And when this position came about, once he restored me, he sent me to a church where they just loved on me. And he had to show me that if hurt people can hurt people, then healed people can heal people, and loved people can love people.
Come on.
And he showed me that, and I said, okay, God, I see what you're doing here. So that church that I went to, they just loved me back and showed me what it really was. And it's not necessarily the church, but it's the people that go there that's jacked up that ain't trying to change. It's a difference when you jacked up and you really want to change, but when you jacked up and you ain't even trying. And so when Revive came about, this position came about, and I was like, oh, wow, me, an executive pastor, God, I just started back liking church. And he said, you've seen it done wrong enough, so you know how to do it right. And one of our things that we specialize in our ministry outside of special needs is just people who have been hurt, church people hurt, going through, they just come and get revived. I went through the process, and we wholeheartedly believe that I believe for sure, and I know my church does as well, that your life, your journey can serve as a roadmap to somebody else. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimony. So it's going to help me overcome, but I can help walk you through that same situation where you've been hurt, and I can help you through that journey. And we partner with people on their journey in this walk and help them reconnect to Jesus, revive themselves, and then find out their true purpose. And then, hey, now we're going to connect you to that community that you can actually serve in, because everything ain't happening inside that building. Church happens, ministry happens in everyday life. When you walking in that grocery store and you bump into somebody and they looking down and God give you a word for them. When you at work and that person is really getting on your nerves, but you show love anyway. When you dealing with your family member that's a habitual whoever, and everybody's been enabling them, and you want to really choke them out, and God say, no, go say this and do that. That's ministry. Those things happen in everyday life, not just in the building. So our goal again is to connect you to Jesus, help you revive, figure out your purpose, and then function in community. So yeah, that's what we're about. So if you want to stop in, we have service on Saturdays on purpose at 5 p.m. Saturday evenings at 2327 North 52nd Street is Revive a Life Transformation Church, where we believe if you change your thinking, you can change your life.
Come on. Pastor LaMeka popped
Yes,
out.
yes, y'all. Go and visit her. Go down there, and like she said, they got it on Saturdays on purpose, so you don't got no excuse. I know most of y'all is off on Saturday, and it's at 5 p.m., which means it is not too late to go. We just thank you for coming on, and just we just thank God for you for sharing your story and your journey. And I know that so many people can relate to your story, because I can relate to your story. And just your title, Love Jones, like, it's just amazing. And I just feel like, God is so intentional about bringing you on here today, because just your journey helped me so much from what I'm going through right now, that I am truly blessed that God did this at this time. Like, so I just appreciate you, and I love you for sharing your story and coming on here and just being brave and being bold and being you. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, this was
I'm
great.
so honored and so humbled to be able to share my testimony. There's so many times where, guys, I can honestly be on here talking for hours and hours, telling y'all everything that I've been through,
Oh,
and
we're
you be
gonna
like,
have you back.
really?
We're gonna have you back for a different topic. I see some stuff yeah, I think even on I can see some processing divorce and discerning the right marriage. But that's another talk for another day, guys.
But I do. I thank y'all for allowing me this space. I know I try not to talk too much, but sometimes it just be coming all out. So thank y'all so much.
No problem.
You are
So, for the
welcome.
people outside, this is for the people outside. I hope y'all heard. Apply this to y'all life. Don't forget to submit your heart to God. Give it to Him and allow Him to work through you.